Thinking about building your own law firm website? You might want to hear this first. In this CounselCast Chambers episode, we revisit key insights from our conversation with legal tech pioneer Jack Newton to explore the pros and cons of going into the DIY route with your website. Jack breaks down what law firms often overlook when tackling web design alone, like performance, security, content strategy, and client experience. And he helps you to figure out whether building it yourself is a smart move or a costly distraction. If you are weighing the trade-offs between saving money and getting results, this episode will help you make the right call. Let's get into it. This is CounselCast Chambers, the best of CounselCast re-examined. So I want to pull this back to this idea of starting your firm and the website, and a lot of people think that's that first step with where they're starting a firm and they need to start with a website. And so can you talk a little bit about how to balance doing the website yourself, maybe with the Clio new website builder, and how you balance the flexibility of doing it yourself with making it a long-term website and keeping it sustainable, and having that be, maybe if you're starting out and this is your first time starting a firm, that's the right place for your budget is to start there. But how do you balance, like I said, keeping it flexible and keeping it sustaable and making it functional for your clients? I know that was a big question.
It's a good segue from the story of how a unicorn billion-dollar company was born out of a single blog post, and it just shows you the value of having a footprint on the internet. And the way I think about this at a macro level is legal demand is increasingly starting with a Google search. It's no longer customers thumbing through a yellow pages. They're not paying attention to the billboard ads that are on the side of the interstate. Yeah. Legal demand is starting with a Google search. And modern lawyers need to figure out, how do you work backwards from that Google search volume and make sure that you've got a funnel that is leading from those Google searches to you as the person that is going to help them navigate that legal challenge, solve that problem that they're facing, and be a partner to them in seeing a good legal outcome. Yeah. And of course, a website needs to be part of that equation. You need a landing page. You need the doorstep to your law firm. And again, using the bricks and mortar framing here, you don't need a fancy AAA office space in your downtown of whatever city you're practicing in. You need a great modern website that helps convey your value proposition as a lawyer, and I think more importantly, shows that you are effortless and easy to work with. And the modern consumer, unfortunately, doesn't even really care all that much about whether you are the top of your class in law school or any of the credentials that most lawyers think that matter. They're looking for simple things like, do you offer online appointment scheduling? Can I schedule my initial consultation with you without having to call your firm? Can I give you a credit card rather than having to mail you a check, which means, first of all, I need to search around and find my checkbook. Can I text message you or do a live chat on your website rather than picking up a phone and calling you? And increasingly...
I just want to insert real quick that the reason that you are saying that you know what these clients are looking for is based on this legal trends report. So if people haven't come across this legal trends report, it's really, really critical, because this is just a neutral report that Clio puts out every year that talks about what's happening in the legal world and also legal technology, what clients are looking for. And so you're not just taking these ideas kind of out of thin air. You're taking them out of data-driven reports that talk about what they actually care about. So many of the clients that we work with, when we're putting together the content for a website, spend probably 60-70% of their time on their bio. And that is not
right.
where...
It's wordsmithed to perfection.
Yes. Yeah, over and over and over, to the point where it's just ad nauseum and it's pointless. It's not going to drive any kind of meaningful results. And the reason we know this is because of this legal trends report. It's not just because it's annoying to me. It's because we know this based on what people have said and what works and what they're looking for. So I'm sorry to interrupt there, but
no,
I
it's
think
a
it's
super
really
important point, because these,
Yeah.
what I'm saying may come across as opinions, but they're actually facts, and,
Yes.
and they're data-driven perspectives from the legal trends report. We've published now 7 legal trends reports, and it's based on quantitative surveys we've conducted of both lawyers and consumers. And the inspiration for the legal trends report when we started down this track was really an observation I had, and it was some of the research that I started before writing my book, which is called The Client-Centered Law Firm. And what this the data research I was doing to really provide some of the key insights for the book really helped paint a picture that was surprising to me, which was there's massive divergence between what consumers actually want and what lawyers think they want.
Yes. Yes.
And our mission at Clio, both in our software in terms of what we're building and the best practices it creates as natural outcomes of utilizing the software, as well as our presentations and our publications like the Legal Trends Report, is to help make the case to lawyers around how they need to pivot their business practices to accommodate the modern consumer. And that essentially we're seeing what I call the consumerization of legal services, where consumers are taking their experiences and working with all sorts of other service providers, whether that's Amazon.com or Uber or their accountant or their dentist, taking those lessons and essentially they've been trained to expect a certain level of effortlessness in their communication and interactions, and they expect the same of a law firm. So back to websites.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
When they land on your website.
How does that translate in terms of like what the website used to look like when it wasn't really very client-centric, and also throughout the whole system of the firm, in terms of the entire
here's how I
interaction?
Describe the opposite of what a lawyer should be aiming to do with their website. And unfortunately, it's what a lot of websites look like today for lawyers and law firms. But the header of the website is their firm name in a 6,000 point font.
Yeah.
Followed by their 800 number in a 5,000 point font.
Yeah.
So what you're immediately encouraging is what's called channel switching. A consumer came to you, to your website. They probably want to interact with you on your website because they're at work or they're on a call or they're not able to call you, but you're encouraging them to reach you by phone. To your point earlier, what you'll see next is all the credentials. You'll see the bio, and you'll see magna cum laude at this law school and all these things that lawyers think their clients care about that they emphatically don't. And then there will be no conversion mechanism. There will be all these credentials and all this information and a list maybe of all the lawyers at the website, and the average consumer is staring at this page saying, where do I go?
Yep.
And what the lawyer is hoping they'll do is phone that phone number. And here's the grim reality. Most consumers will actually just close that tab and move on to the next lawyer that they can communicate with the way they want to.